Good evening, friends, and welcome to what day was it? Tuesday, going on Wednesday, because it will be midnight in a matter of minutes. It will likely turn midnight while I'm in the middle of recording this vlog. It's been a little bit. I wanted to try this daily, and a few days ago, or maybe even a week ago, I don't remember time very well, but regardless, there was one day where I did record a whole vlog, and I had a whole coffee making montage filmed as well. But my problem was I never actually finished filming it, so I never publish it, because that's just kind of my own personal policy when filming vlogs, I guess. If the clip is unfinished, then I just don't produce and publish it. And those are the words I was looking for, and I was really struggling. But today, I just felt like filming another one for the heck of it, because why not, you know? It's been a very good past couple days. Honestly, things have actually been pretty alright in general lately. There was definitely a lot of stress going on last week, and undoubtedly there will be more in the future, but I am doing alright. I am living life, hanging out with my wonderful significant other, whom I'm very grateful for, making progress in my book. I am actually writing the final battle as we speak, technically. I made all my progress earlier. Like I said before, I'm trying to limit my writing to about 1,000 words a day-ish. Sometimes I'll do more, sometimes I'll do less. It depends on how I feel that day, and I'm starting to be a little more gentle on myself and not judging myself quite as much as I used to. So I got my writing done earlier and was very happy with the progress I made, and it's just one of those days where I feel fortunate to be an author, and I'm happy that I chose this vocation in life and that I get to pursue it. It really is just something I am more than grateful for. I also finally beat Dragon Quest III. It was my second full playthrough. I've played it through multiple times, but this was the second time I've actually beaten the game. I've gotten to Act 2 multiple times, but I never committed to actually beating the game because I usually felt like the end game difficulty spike compared to the rest of the game was not necessarily unfair, but it wasn't something I wanted to go through. So a lot of the time I would get to Act 2 and then I would delete my save and start over from the beginning. But this time I committed. Yesterday I beat the main story, and I was level grinding to do the post game. I'd actually never done the post game before, today. I guess technically yesterday. I didn't finish it yesterday, but I tried it because I wanted to see how difficult it was to sort of gauge how much I'd need to level grind. And let me give you a bit of a frame of reference. In Dragon Quest III, you can beat the game at about level 40, maybe level 38. You don't have to be that high level to actually beat the game. The post-game, on the other hand, people suggest being around level 60, even as far as level 65. Not just because of the dungeon. The dungeon itself is quite difficult, and each battle is a struggle to stay alive, but the super boss at the end, not only is it incredibly brutal and has a lot of health, but in order to receive a reward from fighting it, you have to beat it within a certain amount of turns. The first attempt, you can beat it in 35 turns for your first reward, and all subsequent attempts, if you want to get another reward, you have to beat it in 25 turns or less. So I spent a lot of time level grinding. I found a method that allowed me to just basically fight an infinite number of enemies in a single fight. So every single fight, I was getting upward of like 100,000 experience points, and I was basically able to make it to where each of my party members could gain a level per fight, which is saying something. The fights would last a long time. It's not a fast method, but it's a reliable method, and that's what I was okay with, because you don't have to worry about enemies running or anything. But I eventually got the hero up to level 60. I got the warrior up to level 60, and my mages, they were lagging behind, but One of them was level like 55 or something, so I felt confident going into it. I tried it yesterday, and when I did manage to make it through the dungeon itself. The dungeon actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting. It's essentially a reprise of a lot of the main game's dungeons. So if you already know what those dungeons are like, then the dungeons themselves aren't difficult to navigate. The enemies were very tough, but fortunately I survived. I did have to revive people a few times, and I had to use an Yggdrasil leaf, which is a restoration item to revive a fallen party member in the Dragon Quest games. But I made it through, and I decided to challenge the super boss. However, literally right before I got to the super boss, I encountered an enemy that can cast a spell called Blasto. And for those who do not know, Blasto is a spell that takes someone out of the battle. It's something you can use yourself if there's an enemy that you just don't want to deal with. You don't get the XP for it, unfortunately, but if there's a really annoying enemy, you can just cast that spell and they just go flying off into the distance. However, enemies can do it to you, and it does not just take a party member out of battle, it takes them out of your party altogether. And in order to get that party member back, you have to leave whatever place you're at, go all the way back to the hero's hometown, and re-recruit that party member. They don't lose their levels or anything like that. It's not that terrible, but it is terribly inconvenient to just lose a party member in the middle of a dungeon when you're on your way to the true final battle, instead of doing the sensible thing and actually going to re-recruit that party member. I challenged the super boss with only 3 party members. As you might expect, it did not go well. I was, in truth, not really paying attention to what was going on in the battle, but there was one turn where it did a thing, and I just watched everyone boom, hero's dead, boom, warrior's dead, boom, mage is dead, and just all in one turn. And I'm like, okay, we needed our 4th party member, and we need to be stronger. So that's what I spent today doing. I spent a significant amount of time level grinding. I put on the Trails of Cold Steel 1 soundtrack as backing music, and that really helped the process along, and I was very happy. I got my hero up to level 60 or so, like I said, and I challenged the super boss again, and this time went much better. It felt like it lasted a little too long though, and I was worried that I might not have met the turn requirements in order to get a reward, but when I was done, the boss told me I had finished it in 22 turns, which is incredible. I actually beat both the prerequisites for getting the rewards for fighting the boss. And now I can safely say I am more or less done with the game. I do plan on doing some extras, and of course I'm going to do more playthroughs because I love that game so damn much. But for now, I am done, and I am moving on to other things. One of those things being Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. And that has been a very good time. I've played a decent chunk of the beginning before. I've gotten to Chapter 2, but Chapter 2 is actually quite long, a lot longer than I expected it to be, because my first 3D Ys game was Ys 9, which up until a few weeks ago was the most recent game in the series, but and I feel like the chapters in that game weren't as long. I feel like it didn't take me nearly as long to get through Chapter 2 in that game, but I may have just been misremembering, because it's been a long time since I played that, and I am thinking of restarting it after I finish Ys 8. But in any case, I finally finished Chapter 2 of Ys 8 a couple days ago, and it blew my freaking mind. That entire chapter could basically be a game all in itself, and it was quite impressive to see just how long the game went on. But it was a very good time, the story was insane, and I'm excited to see more. I'm finally in new territory, because I've seen the beginning multiple times, and I feel like that was kind of part of the reason why I just never played more, because I was always so burned out on the beginning, because I've seen it so many times. And also because it's an action RPG and not turn-based. And I tend to run out of steam when it comes to action-based games a lot faster than I do when it comes to a turn-based game. So I just don't play it as much. But I've picked it up back up. I'm at the beginning of chapter 3, and I am absolutely having a great time. I think my PS4 controller has drift for some reason. It happens sometimes where I'll be playing that game, and it's especially noticeable in Ys 8, but the camera will just kind of move by itself, and maybe it's just because my controller's old or something. But the last time I played, I had no issues with it, and I was able to play for hours, and there were no camera issues. But tonight I was playing, and those issues were right up front and center, and I noticed them very quickly. But regardless, I am happy to be playing the game, and I'm happy to eventually make more progress in it. All in all, though, it's been a very good past few days, just in general. You know, aside from everything that happened last week, this week has been nice, and I think I really needed that. I think everything that happened is kind of partially why, because we need bad things to happen to remind us of the good things, and to know that, you know, there are things worth being happy over. And yeah, there's just a lot I'm very grateful for, a lot that I can really talk about, but my arm can only hold my phone up for so long, and because I'm recording these in split clips like I used to, I've had my phone on for a while, and it is quite warm, so I probably need to give it a break by now. I've been kind of grounding myself from my phone. Actually, that might be a big reason why I haven't been filming vlogs lately, because after everything that happened last week, I was compulsively doom scrolling, and I'm like, I cannot do this. This is terrible for my mental health. So I just turned off my phone, I hid it someplace that, like, out of sight, out of mind, and then I only picked it back up yesterday, actually. And I'm trying to use it very sparingly. I don't want to use it a ton, so I only really use it to, like, look up stuff if I'm not at my laptop. And that's about it. And I'll probably be using it going forward to start filming vlogs again. At any rate, my arm is getting tired, so I should stop the recording now. Thank you guys so much for watching. You are all wonderful people. And as always, let's do our best tomorrow.